The opinions voiced on the Raw are those of the hosts and the callers and not necessarily represent the views and opinions of KTOX and Ruben Broadcasting, or its advertisers. The opinions should be considered as the ramblings of raving lunatics.
You're listening to The Raw with Henry and Miss Raw, brought to you by Pirate Web Radio Productions, Ruben Broadcasting, along with KTOX 1340 AM and 92.9 FM, the Tri-State's undisputed talk leader.
We the people, and all we do, reserve the right to scream, fuck you! Wear your mask, take your pills. Now a whole generation's mentally ill. Man, fuck Fauci. But COVID's near, it's coming to town. We gotta act quick, shut our borders down. Joe Biden does, the media embraces. Big Dime does it, and they call him racist. We the people. Let's go, Brandon. We the people.
Goodness gracious me, mercy sakes alive. It is The Raw. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Miss Misty Ann Hansen. Wow. Why am I all blurry? Oh my gosh. Well, I can fix that. Maybe. Oh my goodness gracious me. My camera's all goofy-eyed. It's like, maybe I need to, I don't know. What do I need to do with it? Oh. There we go. There it is. Okay, here we go. Anyway, right now we are watching, we will be watching here the United States House of Representatives. We'll see if they decide that they want to actually do their fucking job and elect a Speaker of the House so they can get back to fucking work. Yeah, I think that's how that goes. I don't know. Anyway, we'll let me. I'm a little bit discombobulated. I almost forgot that this is happening, but here it is. Here it is. Right now they're doing call the House a quorum vote to make sure that they have enough people present to actually have a vote. So far, 220 Republicans have voted present, and 209 Democrats have voted present, which seems just a whole hell of a lot more than they do. Anyway, if you want to join in the stupid conversation, you can, of course, give me a call, 928-476-0331, 928-476-0331. And, you can give your ultimate opinions over this. Of course, once they do finally decide that they are going to go back into session. Now, this was supposed to be a 15-minute vote. It's been going on now for 25 minutes-ish. So, yeah. Go figure. Yeah, pretty much, yeah, that is a go figure. Now, they're supposed to be voting for one Republican and one Democrat. God knows what's going to happen here. It may end up being another wasted day, and where we'll end up with absolutely positively nothing to show for it. So, I know this is high tension, and please feel free to leave nasty grams in live chat. I don't care. I was kind of hoping to have Henry on, but it might help if I actually sent Henry a invitation. Let's see here now. House Henry. Whoops. POTE. Yeah, there we go. I'll send that to him. He'll either come on or he will not. There we go. Anyway, yeah, right now that is about what's happening with that. We're going to go ahead and mute that sound because, well, unless you enjoy the ambiance, the background of listening to those people that we spend a lot of money paying to go do our business. Yeah. So sit back, pop some popcorn, crack open your favorite beverage, adult or otherwise. It'd probably be easier if you got an adult beverage and started watching this. It's kind of early in the morning for some people. For the adult beverages, smoke a bowl if you got it. Although I do not endorse smoking adult smoke. Smoke them if you got them, but it's definitely going to be something. I'll tell you what we should do. I'll tell you what we should do. We should right now call Henry and tell him we're on. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, there he is. There is the number. Come on. Calling Henry. Yes. Should be able to hear that. Oh, there it is. It's ringing. It's definitely ringing. And maybe
it is.
And maybe he'll answer. Henry, how you doing? You're on the Raw.
It's a possibility I'll answer.
Well, that's good. You are live on the Raw right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did we get a house speaker?
Not yet. Right now they are in session. They just called a vote for the quorum that's gone overdue. They're getting ready to pound some gavelings.
Okay.
Because the speaker pro tem is up there, folding origami paper, it looks like. So, I think he's doing actually something useful for once. So
they are actually earning their money.
Folding origami in the House of Representatives. Yeah, I guess that could be considered earning his money. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. He's about ready to gavel in, call an end to the quorum vote that's been going on now for 35 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, they're just
Yeah, he just
Are all members recorded?
Now, one Republican did not vote and 3 Democrats did not vote in the quorum vote.
Okay.
But basically, that's to establish that they have
on this
enough
roll
there
call.
to have it.
429 members have recorded their presence.
Isn't that wonderful? Do you hear that?
Yeah, 429.
Yes.
Yeah.
The question now recurs on the election of Speaker. The tellers will please come forward to take their seats once again.
The tellers.
Once again, they say.
Once again. Oh my
yeah, the
God.
tellers, the bank tellers, right?
It could be. It wasn't
the ones handling the money.
Wasn't there a huge scandal with the House post office check writing thing?
There's always a big scandal in the House. Come on.
Oh, they are a big scandal. I understand that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I called to let you know that we're live, and if you want to come on, you can.
Okay, actually, I am getting ready to go out of town. Again, from
that's
here.
right. Good God Almighty! I forgot. I totally forgot you were gone.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I am in Orange County right now. I'm going to get ready to go to the doctor, and then I'm heading to San Diego.
Oh,
But this is
goodness
very
gracious.
important. I just turned on the news channel on my TV right now.
Well, trust me. Okay, so let's see here now. Okay, we've got the speaker pro tem up there. He's right. He's now writing notes on his origami.
Okay.
Is what it appears to be. Oh, he just passed the origami off to the rules guy.
Okay.
He bashed his hammer. Looks like he's mad.
The nominations are now in order. The chair now recognizes the gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik.
Oh, isn't that
Mr. Speaker
wonderful?
Pro Temp, Madam Clerk, colleagues, on behalf of the House Republican Conference, I rise today to nominate the gentleman from Louisiana, Mike Johnson, as Speaker of the People's House.
Yay! Yay! Oh my gosh! Yay! Oh, let's clap a lot and pretend that we're all friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God!
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to go to CNN. It isn't on Fox.
What? Why you can hear? I hope you don't have the volume on there.
Oh no, it's down. It's down.
Okay, good. Because I'm watching.
No, I wouldn't have the volume on. I kind of know when I'm live, and I can handle that kind of stuff. But I will yell.
What the hell are they doing?
We convene this esteemed body today at a time of great crisis across America.
No fucking shit.
A time of unprecedented challenges in this hallowed chamber. And a time when our most precious ally, Israel's very existence is under attack from forces of evil. Yesterday, our dear colleague, our former conference chair, our chair of Energy and Commerce, Cathy McMorris Rodgers, nominated Mike Johnson in our conference. And she put it best, and I want to quote her today. She said, quote, "Trust has been broken and we have come to a standstill."
Really?
How do we restore trust between members, leadership, and ultimately between Congress and we, the people?
Well, I guess a broken
Cathy
clock
went on
can
to
get
say,
things right
there's a sense that it cannot be business as usual. She went on to note, above the speaker's chair in the House chamber is our nation's motto, "In God we trust."
In God we trust.
Yeah, none of them are God.
Not the American people, not the Constitution, but in God we trust.
Yeah. And none of them are God.
Okay.
Well, they try to act like
Ms.
they're
McMorris
God.
Rodgers went on to say, "The times in which we are living demand boldness, unity, and transformational leadership that begins with trust in God and each other.
I would have gone nuts.
Trust is when the magic
Or
happens.
transgender.
Oh, hang on.
In the story of King David, we are reminded that man looks
Are you
at the
fucking
outward
kidding me?
appearance, but the
are we actually
Lord looks
trusting?
at the heart. End quote. Today is the day that House Republicans will humbly look in our hearts and elect Mike Johnson as Speaker of the People's House.
Oh, yes. He looks all humble there, going, shaking his head. Yeah. Love
It'd be me.
A
They're
man of
talking
deep
about
faith,
me.
Mike epitomizes what it means to be a servant leader. A deeply respected constitutional
why am I
lawyer,
not
Mike has
believing this?
dedicated
Oh,
his
it's a
life
politician
to
telling me that.
preserving America's
Their
great
lips are
principles
moving.
of life, liberty, and the pursuit of
Hey.
happiness. Mike is a titan on the Judiciary
You
Committee
know.
and a dedicated member of the House Armed Services Committee. And as vice chair of our conference, he has united all of our members to speak clearly and boldly on behalf of the American people.
Bullshit.
A friend to
Oh, I'm sorry.
all
Did I say that out
and an
loud?
enemy to none. Mike is strong, tough, and fair. And above all, Mike is kind. And at this very moment, this Republican conference knows that we live in perilous times and the American people are hurting. Families are struggling under the pain of inflation caused by reckless far-left spending, unable to afford groceries, heat, or gas. We have an inhumane open border with millions illegally smuggled and trafficked, and tens of thousands of children lost in the chasm of the incompetence and negligence of the Biden administration. Israel is under attack by Iranian-backed Hamas terrorists committing atrocities, with Israelis suffering the bloodiest days in modern memory. Crime is skyrocketing on our streets, while there are vicious calls from the left to defund our great men and women in blue.
I thought they said
American energy production.
I thought the Democrats stopped calling for defunding the police.
They did. They stopped that a while ago.
American energy production has been crushed by Joe Biden's radical failed far-left Democrat policies, causing seniors, farmers, and families to pay more at the pump. And Americans fundamentally understand that the federal government has been illegally weaponized against we, the people, shredding the Constitution, targeting conservatives, parents,
transgender people. Oh, I'm sorry. That would be you Republicans.
Are they talking about you again?
Yes, I'll say it again.
Yes.
The federal government has been illegally weaponized against we, the people, shredding the Constitution, targeting conservatives, parents, and even Joe Biden's top political opponent. The people are looking to this great chamber to save America, and save America we will.
Unfortunately, let me give you some realities of facts, dear lady. Whatever you pass here can be rejected in the
And as we embark on the path ahead, I am reminded of Galatians 6:9. And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. House Republicans and Speaker Mike Johnson will never give up. Today is the day we get this done. May God bless our next Speaker, Mike Johnson. May God bless the United States of America. And I
yield back. If they only put forth one candidate, I am going to be fucking surprised. How about you, Henry?
If they put what?
Only one candidate forward.
Yeah.
Here comes Hakeem or Hakim or whatever the fuck his name is.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar.
Oh, Aguilar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tempore. I noticed a little bit more of a smile on your face today than we have in the past.
That's the pro tem guy, right?
The Speaker Pro Tem. Yeah.
That's the guy said, "Oh, good. I don't have this job."
Oh, good. He got a standing ovation from both sides. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Let's stroke some egos some more. Get on with the fucking job, assholes. I'm having more fun than I should have. Really.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today at the direction of the Democratic Caucus to place into nomination for the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries from New York.
Oh, yes, Hakeem. Good old Hakeem. Yeah.
Yeah, we want Hakeem Jeffries. You know what? Go sit down.
Yeah, well, he's still standing, but now he's sitting.
Yeah.
Hakeem. Oh, I'm sorry. I got carried away.
Yeah, Hakeem.
Bless you.
Mr. Speaker.
Boo.
Mr. Speaker, you may agree with this, but we are back here 22 days into this Republican manufactured chaos, and House Republicans have brought us to the exact same position that we were. All of the infighting, all of the disarray, just to end up where we were 3 weeks ago. These past few weeks, we have been left wondering if Republicans were truly intent on solving our issues, reopening the House of Representatives, and rallying around someone to lead this chamber. Or has this been about something else? Has this been about a focus of House Republicans to find the person who can pass their extreme litmus test to oppose marriage equality, enact a nationwide abortion ban without exceptions, gut Social Security and Medicare, and support overturning a free and fair election? It's a fair question. It's a fair question. No one.
It's a stupid question.
Well, what they're both doing is they're both bashing each other's sides.
Of course, you know, they've got to do it.
Nowhere in that candidate questionnaire is it about growing the middle class, helping our communities, keeping the cost of healthcare lower, and making life for everyday Americans better.
Nowhere in
the gentlewoman from New York said it right. This has been about one thing. This has been about who can appease Donald Trump.
Oh, yes. Yes. Who can suck Donald's dick?
They're still all scared of Donald Trump.
Oh, they are. They're horrified of him.
Yes, they are.
Oh, there's Nancy.
House Republicans have put their names behind someone who has been called the most important architect of the Electoral College objections. He's spearheaded.
Right.
That's fair. We know how you feel. Yeah. You've made that clear. He's spearheaded the legal effort, joined by more than 100 of our colleagues on the other side of the aisle, in support of a dangerous and baseless lawsuit to overturn the results of the 2020 election.
Damn right.
On the eve of January 6th, some of my Republican colleagues even called this a failed strategy. Yet those same individuals plan to stand right next to him today. Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, House Democrats believe that when members of this body voted to reject the results of the 2020 election, they forfeited their ability to lead this chamber.
Oh, bullshit. They forfeited their ability.
On this side of the aisle, we know what leadership looks like. Hakeem Jeffries has never turned his back on the will of the American people.
They know what it looks like.
As son of two social workers, he's always stood by the side of working families. The most pressing needs of everyday Americans are his North Star.
What?
He believes that everyone in America should have the opportunity to get ahead and achieve their version of the American dream
for the American people.
He believes that access to affordable health care is a right, not a privilege.
In the House
he believes that reproductive freedom must be guaranteed, not stripped away.
Well, are you taking phone calls, Ms. Rob?
Well, you're on the phone.
I know you got call waiting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna interrupt you. Call waiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
He believes that working families, not the wealthy and the well-connected, should be rewarded. He believes in growing the middle class so that everyone can succeed. He believes that our schools and our communities should be safe and free from gun violence. He believes that investing in public.
Shut up, fucker. You know, he's going on, but you know, here they're only interested in growing the middle class. How about growing the American people?
Well, yeah.
How about helping every single person, rich, poor, middle class, homeless? How about helping the American people?
Democracy against all enemies and adversaries, foreign and domestic.
Oh my God, I'm
foreign and Democrat.
Oh wow, I'm sorry I muted his ass. I wanted him.
He believes in standing by our allies, Israel and Ukraine.
Since when has Ukraine been an American ally?
Yeah, I know. Since they gave Hunter Biden money.
He believes in keeping our government running and open. Let me be clear. This is not just a belief system. Leader Jeffries has the track record to back it up. He is certainly a far contrast from who Republicans have nominated, with or without their votes, to nominate today. But if House Republicans choose, they can still join us on a bipartisan path forward. Let's come together to fund our government, support our allies abroad, and deliver for working families. End the chaos, end the dysfunction, end the extremism. Let's open up the people's house. I yield back, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please sit down and shut the fuck up.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Now, of course, we'll have the mandatory debates.
The reading clerk will now call the roll.
Adams. Jeffries.
Oh, here we go. We're voting.
Adderholt. Johnson. Aguilar. Jeffries.
That's
Alford. Johnson. Allen. Johnson. Allred. Jeffries. Amadei.
Is this giving you nightmares from the last time?
Johnson.
Yeah.
Armstrong.
Yes.
Johnson. Arrington.
Johnson.
Johnson. Auchincloss. Jeffries. Babin. Johnson.
Mike Johnson.
Bacon.
Louisiana.
Johnson. Baird.
Nice party. I don't hear something different.
Johnson. Balderson. Johnson. Ballant. Jeffries. Banks.
Yeah.
Jeffries.
Johnson. Barr. Johnson. Berrigan. Jeffries. Dean of Florida. Johnson. Beatty.
I want to see one Democrat vote for
Jeffries.
Vote for Johnson.
I know.
Just
Benz.
one. Just one. Just give me one.
Just
Johnson.
One. Yeah, just one.
Barra.
Nancy Pelosi.
Jeffries.
Nancy Pelosi.
Bergman. Johnson. Beyer. Beyer. Bice. Johnson.
There was
Biggs.
a not present vote.
Johnson. Bilirakis.
Absolutely. Mike Johnson.
Bishop of Georgia. Jeffries. Bishop of North Carolina. Johnson. Blumenauer. Jeffries. Blunt Rochester. Jeffries.
Are you keeping track of the vote there, Chief?
Yeah, 18-9.
Johnson.
Okay.
Bonamici.
You probably see the actual vote there on screen then.
Yes, I do.
Okay, I don't.
Johnson. Bowman. Jeffries.
Well, the best part is I don't hear any
Boyle
others
of
yet.
Pennsylvania.
What's that?
The best part is I don't hear any others yet.
Boyle of Pennsylvania. Burkeen. Johnson. Brown.
21-12.
Jeffries.
Well, we know.
Brownlee.
If they stay on the
Jeffries.
current path, it's a foregone conclusion. that
Buchanan.
the Johnson character is going to be Speaker of the House.
Correct.
Johnson.
Correct. If.
Buck.
Now, when we get into
Johnson.
let me see, where was it
Buchan.
last time? About a third of the way through is
Johnson.
when the votes start changing
Basinski.
to others.
Jeffries. Burchett. Johnson. Burgess. Johnson. Burleson. Johnson. Bush. Jeffries.
George?
Calvert.
Just as well be.
Johnson.
Actually, I think that was more of a Georgette.
Kamek.
The dead one.
Johnson. Caravello. Jeffries. Carbajal. Jeffries. Cardenas. Jeffries.
Jeffries.
Carey. Johnson. Carl. Johnson. Carson. Jeffries. Carter of Georgia. Johnson.
Well, so far, no
Carter
other.
of Louisiana.
I know, we're good. We're in J.
Jeffries.
Yeah. What's the score now?
Carter of Texas.
No, we're in C's. I'm sorry.
Johnson.
I'm sorry. What?
We're
Cartwright.
in C's. We're just
Jeffries.
ABC.
Yeah, I know, but what's the score?
Kassar.
32-21.
Jeffries.
Okay, thank you.
Johnson. 33-21.
Case. Jeffries. Caston. Jeffries. Castor of Florida. Jeffries. Castro of Texas.
Castro.
Jeffries.
Fidel,
yes. Well,
Chavez to Reamer.
Jeffries, so obviously.
Johnson.
That's
Sherfilis McCormick. Jeffries. Chu. Jeffries.
Did
Cisco Mani.
Sneeze? Bless you, honey.
Johnson. Clark of Massachusetts. Jeffries. Clark of New York. Jeffries. Cleaver. Jeffries. Klein.
30-35.
Johnson.
Well, the thing is, she picked on a lot of Democrats just now.
Johnson.
Well, yeah. And it's
Clyburn.
all in alphabetical order, so.
Yeah.
Jeffries. Clyde. Johnson. Cohen. Jeffries. Cole. Johnson. Collins. Johnson. Comer.
Donald J. Trump.
Johnson.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Connolly. Jeffries. Correa. Correa. Costa.
In the bathroom.
Jeffries. Courtney. Jeffries. Craig.
Happy anniversary to my wife. Happy anniversary to my wife.
Yeah, you need to be kicked out of Congress for that. It's
No.
like, this is not about that.
Correct, it's not about that. But, you know.
Yeah, that's the so ridiculous
Jeffries.
thing right there.
Crane. Johnson.
Yeah,
Crawford.
they were all clapping when she said that.
Johnson. Crenshaw. Johnson. Crockett. Jeffries.
For the 19th time,
Crow.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Cuellar.
Yeah.
Jeffries. Curtis. Johnson. Davis of Kansas. Jeffries. Davidson. Johnson. Davis of Illinois.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries. Davis of North Carolina. Jeffries.
So what's the score?
Dean of
right now
Pennsylvania.
there?
46-42.
Jeffries.
Uh-huh. It's tightening up.
DeGette.
Doesn't mean a
Jeffries.
damn thing, actually.
Dela Cruz.
43. Tighten up.
Johnson. DeLauro. Jeffries.
No.
Del
others
Bene.
like that.
Jeffries.
So far, no others. That's correct.
DeLuzio.
That's the best part.
Jeffries. DeSaulnier.
And we're almost a quarter of the way
Jeffries.
through it.
Desjardins. Johnson.
47-47.
D'Esposito. Johnson. Diaz-Balart, Johnson. Dingle, Jeffries.
That would be
Doggett,
Dingleberry.
Jeffries.
Dingleberry.
Donalds.
I know.
Johnson.
I'm not very
Duarte.
Donald Duck.
Johnson. Duncan.
Duncan Yo-Yo.
Johnson. Dunn of Florida. Johnson.
He sounds done.
Edwards.
Yeah.
Johnson. Elsie.
Elvis.
Johnson. Emmer.
Well, you see, he was the front runner before he stopped. Was it day before yesterday or something like that? I don't.
Johnson. Escobar. Jeffries.
Pablo.
Eshu.
Bless you.
Jeffries. Espaillat. Jeffries.
You know what's
Estes.
disgusting is when they vote like that.
Johnson.
You know, an important person for the
Evans.
Democrat or Hakeem.
Jeffries.
They stand up and they cheer.
Yeah.
Ezell. Johnson.
Big Mike Johnson. Oh my
Fallon.
God. Big Johnson.
Big Johnson.
Johnson.
Another Big Johnson.
Finstra. Johnson. Ferguson. Johnson. Finstad. Johnson. Fishbach. Johnson. Fitzgerald. Johnson. Fitzpatrick. Johnson. Fleischman. Johnson.
A B C D E F G H
Fletcher.
I J K L M N O P.
Jeffries.
Yes. No, you messed that all up.
Johnson.
God, I'll tell you what. That's why you went to Paul.
Foster.
It's running down my leg.
Jeffries. Fushi. Jeffries. Fox. Johnson.
News.
Lois Frankel. Jeffries. Scott Franklin. Johnson.
Benjamin who?
Frost. Jeffries. Fry. Johnson. Fulcher. Johnson.
70-60.
Johnson.
Yep, that
Gallagher.
was the Getz
Johnson. Gallego. Gallego.
Wow, that's 3 Democrats that didn't bother to show up or vote.
Jeffries.
That's what they're saying.
Garbarino. Johnson.
Betty Barbarino.
Mike Garcia. Johnson. Robert Garcia. Jeffries. Garcia of Illinois. Jeffries. Garcia of Texas. Jeffries.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jimenez. Johnson.
Big Mike Johnson.
Golden of Maine.
That's right. 77-64.
Jeffries. Goldman of New York.
Goldman Sachs.
Jeffries.
Yeah, he's probably
Gomez.
quite the billionaire by now.
Jeffries. Tony Gonzalez. Johnson. Vicente Gonzalez. Vicente Gonzalez.
Another
Good
one.
of Virginia. Johnson. Gooden of Texas. Johnson. Gosar. Johnson.
Oh, Gosar the
Gottheimer.
Destroyer.
Jeffries. Granger.
Trump.
Johnson. Graves of Louisiana. Johnson. Graves of Missouri. Johnson.
8269.
Green of Tennessee. Johnson. Green of Texas.
Oh, come on.
Jeffries.
Drop the stupidity.
Green of Georgia.
I know.
Johnson. Griffith. Johnson. Grijalva. Jeffries. Grothman. Johnson. Guest. Johnson. Guthrie. Johnson. Hageman. Johnson. Harder of California. Jeffries. Harris. Johnson.
Which Harris?
Harshbarger.
Both presidents.
Johnson. Hayes.
9172.
Jeffries. Hearn. Johnson. Higgins of Louisiana. Johnson.
Big Mike Johnson.
Higgins of New York. Jeffries. Hill. Johnson. Himes. Jeffries. Henson. Johnson. Horsford. Jeffries.
For democracy, even. Not
Houchin.
for the republic for which
Johnson.
we stand.
Houlihan.
One nation under
Jeffries.
Hakeem.
Hoyer. Jeffries. Hoyle of Oregon. Jeffries.
Okay, Jeffries.
Hudson. Johnson.
Paging Michael Johnson.
Huffman.
Paging Michael Johnson.
Jeffries. Huizinga. Johnson. Hunt. Johnson.
Please tell me his first
Issa.
name isn't Mike.
Johnson. Ivy. Jeffries.
Well, we're at
Jackson
100
of
to 80.
Illinois. Jeffries.
We got 100 of the 217.
Jackson of
needed.
North Carolina. Jeffries.
Well,
Jackson of Texas.
We're going to stay here until the bitter end.
Johnson.
We already know what the result is going to be.
Jackson Lee.
We're there.
But you know, we're here not to witness
Jeffries.
it, but to heckle.
Jacobs.
Yeah, we're there. But I'm heckling.
Jeffries. James. Johnson.
Jesse James.
Jayapal. Jeffries. Jeffries. Jeffries.
Oh, come on! You could have voted for the other guy, Jeffries. That would have been okay. I'd have been cool with that.
Johnson
That
of
would have been
Georgia.
really good. That would have been we're
Oh,
trying to unite.
fuck off, you
Jeffries.
asshole! Not you. The
Johnson
other
of Louisiana. Johnson.
one. Hey, Johnson! Woohoo! Big Mike! Go, Big Mike!
Johnson of Ohio. Johnson.
At least he didn't vote for himself.
Johnson of South Dakota. Johnson. Jordan. Johnson.
Okay, good job, Jordan. All right, we've gone through 7 of the troublemakers that would have posed an issue.
Joyce of Ohio.
Yeah,
Joyce of Ohio.
And there's the one
Johnson.
Republican. Oh, okay, never mind.
Joyce of Pennsylvania. Johnson. Kemlager Dove.
Hakeem.
Jeffries. Capter. Jeffries. Kane of New Jersey. Johnson. Keating. Jeffries. Kelly of Illinois. Jeffries. Kelly of Mississippi. Johnson. Kelly of Pennsylvania. Johnson. Khanna. Jeffries. Kiggins of Virginia. Johnson. Kildee. Jeffries. Kiley. Johnson. Kilmer. Jeffries. Kim of California. Johnson. Kim of New Jersey. Jeffries. Krishnamurthy. Jeffries. Custer. Jeffries. Kustoff. Johnson. LaHood. Johnson.
What did she say, the hood?
LaLota. Johnson. LaMalfa.
Well, at least we'll be
Johnson.
able to say we shoved a Johnson
Lamborn.
in the house.
That's right.
Johnson.
Ugh.
Landsman.
Yes,
Landsman.
I'm here to heckle and heckle only.
That's right.
Jeffries. Langworthy. Johnson. Larson of Washington. Jeffries. Larson of Connecticut. Jeffries. Latta. Johnson. LaTurner. Johnson. Lawler. Johnson. Lee of California. Jeffries. Lee of Florida. Johnson.
And there's the Speaker Pro Tem again
Lee
doing
of Nevada.
origami in the background.
Jeffries. Lee of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Ledger Fernandez. Jeffries. Lesko. Johnson. Letlow. Johnson.
Yeah, ruh-roh.
Levin. Jeffries. Liu. Jeffries. Lofgren.
Done.
Jeffries.
Lofgren.
Loudermilk.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson.
Louder milk
Lucas.
as opposed to quieter
Johnson.
milk.
Yeah.
Luke Kameyer.
Okay, just
Johnson.
making sure.
Just wanted to clarify that. for you.
Luna.
Absolutely.
Johnson. Luttrell. Johnson. Lynch.
Legend.
Jeffries.
Oh, be nice.
Mace. Johnson.
Mason.
Magaziner. Jeffries.
I mean,
Maliotakis. Johnson. Mann.
I like Mike.
Johnson. Manning.
I like Mike's Johnson.
Jeffries. Massey.
Big Mike's Johnson.
Johnson. Mast. Johnson. Matsui. Jeffries. McBath.
To be or not to be.
Jeffries. McCarthy. Johnson.
Former Speaker of the House, Rhino himself, goes ahead and votes for Johnson.
Yeah.
McCall. Johnson. McLean. Johnson. McClellan. Jeffries. McClintock. Johnson.
140 to 114.
McCullum. Jeffries. McCormick. Johnson. McGarvey. Jeffries. McGovern. Jeffries. McHenry. Johnson.
Johnny, how you doing? Bueller. That's what Johnny's saying right now. Bueller.
Jeffries. Menendez. Jeffries.
You know, Johnny, too bad you didn't last night. You could have called
Jeffries.
in and actually talked to
User.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yeah. I got that little problem
Jeffries.
fixed finally after a year.
Miller of Illinois. Johnson.
Isn't that nice?
Miller of Ohio. Johnson.
Big Johnson.
Miller of West Virginia.
Big Johnson.
Johnson. Miller Meeks.
Oh, I know who else wants another Big Johnson. That'd be Johnny. Johnny
Mills.
wants a Johnson. A Big Johnson. Big Mike Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Molinaro. Johnson.
Boo,
Molinar.
Boo.
Johnson. Mooney. Johnson.
Give him the thumbs
Moore
up.
of Alabama. Johnson. Moore of Utah. Johnson. Moore of Wisconsin. Jeffries.
Johnny says 2 inches.
Moran.
Yeah.
Johnson. Morelli. Jeffries. Moskowitz. Jeffries. Moulton. Jeffries. Mervan. Jeffries. Mullen. Jeffries. Murphy. Johnson. Nadler. Jeffries. Napolitano. Jeffries.
Why does that not surprise me?
Neal. Jeffries. Nagoose. Jeffries. Nels. Johnson. Newhouse. Johnson. Nickel. Jeffries. Norcross. Jeffries. Norman. Johnson. None of Iowa. Johnson.
Beautiful Mike Johnson. Nice. I like that.
Obernolte. Johnson. Ocasio-Cortez. Jeffries. Ogles.
That was the dishonorable AOC.
Johnson. Omar. Jeffries. Owens. Johnson. Pallone. Jeffries. Palmer. Johnson. Panetta. Jeffries. Pappas. Jeffries.
That's a pop.
Pasquale. Jeffries. Payne.
Ow.
Jeffries. Pelosi.
Johnson.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you wrinkled old bitch. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm not sorry.
Correct.
Jeffries. Peltola. Jeffries. Pence. Johnson. Perez.
I'm sorry. What was that, Henry?
When
Perry.
she said all that crap, they all stood up and
Johnson.
Yeah, I know.
Peters.
At least I was
Jeffries.
the only one that stand up to, or at least sit here and say, shut the
Jeffries.
fuck up, you wrinkle old bitch.
All right.
Pfluger. Johnson. Phillips. Jeffries. Pingree.
Henry?
Jeffries.
Yes.
Pocan.
Henry.
Jeffries.
I voted for Jeffrey.
Long break.
Porter.
Jeffrey.
Jeffries. Posey. Johnson. Presley.
Elvis.
Jeffries. Quigley.
Down under.
Jeffries.
That's right.
Ramirez. Jeffries. Raskin. Jeffries.
So what's the score now there, Henry?
Johnson.
170, 150.
Okay.
Rogers of Washington.
No others.
Johnson.
Which is wonderful.
Rogers of Alabama.
We might actually
Johnson.
have a functioning House of Representatives by the end of the day.
Rogers of Kentucky.
I would give that a
Johnson.
pretty good chance.
No, I think it's a pretty good
Rose.
chance at this point as well.
Yeah.
But don't hold your breath.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Rosendale.
The idiots are bound.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Ross.
Ross.
Jeffries. Rouser.
You know, if I was a Democrat,
Johnson.
just to be obnoxious,
Roy.
I would go ahead and vote for Donald J. Trump.
Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ruiz. Jeffries. Rupersberger.
You know, it'd be really funny being a smart ass like
Jeffries.
that, and Hakeem Jeffries lost it by one vote.
Rutherford.
Yeah, really.
Johnson.
You can go on oops.
Ryan. Jeffries.
All right.
Salazar.
No, that wasn't. Paul's in the Senate.
Johnson.
Yeah, baby steps.
Salinas. Jeffries. Sanchez.
Dirty Sanchez.
Santos. Johnson. Sarbanes. Jeffries.
Come on, pound that gavel. Get them under control.
Scalise. Johnson.
Yay!
Scanlon.
Scandalous.
Jeffries. Schakowsky. Jeffries. Schiff. Jeffries. Snyder.
50 shift.
Jeffries. Skolton. Jeffries. Schreier. Jeffries. Swikert. Johnson. Austin Scott. Johnson. David Scott. Jeffries.
Donald J. Trump.
Scott of Virginia. Jeffries.
A vote
Self.
for Jeffries is a vote for Donald
Johnson.
J. Trump.
Sessions. Johnson. Sewell. Jeffries.
Oh, why the grandstand?
Sherman.
Seriously, why do we have to grandstand?
Jeffries.
I know.
Cheryl.
Oh.
Jeffries. Simpson.
Bart.
Johnson. Slotkin. Jeffries. Smith of Missouri. Johnson. Smith of Nebraska. Johnson. Smith of New Jersey. Johnson. Smith of Washington. Jeffries. Smucker. Johnson.
No, at least we're
Sorensen.
up to the S's now.
Jeffries.
Yeah.
Soto. Jeffries.
189.
Spanberger. Jeffries.
Just need to reach that magic
Sparks.
218 and we're done.
Johnson.
Yes, and they're going to recess right now.
Stensbury.
No, they're not going into recess right now.
Jeffries.
Looks like we got it. We got someone in there.
Stanton. Jeffries. Stauber. Johnson. Steele. Johnson. Stefanik. Johnson. Style. Johnson. Stubbe. Johnson. Stevens. Jeffries. Strickland.
Oh, fuck off.
Jeffries.
Ugh,
Strong. Johnson. Swalwell.
Oh,
Jeffries.
Hey,
Sykes.
how's Bang Bang or Bing Bing or
Jeffries.
Bong Bong or whatever the hell her name is?
Takano. Jeffries. Tenney. Johnson. Tanadar. Jeffries. Thompson of California. Jeffries.
Of course, California.
Thompson of Mississippi. Jeffries. Thompson of Pennsylvania. Johnson. Tiffany. Johnson.
New York.
Timmons. Johnson. Titus. Jeffries.
I thought Titus was on Gutfield.
Talib.
You'd think.
Jeffries.
I didn't know how he got a vote.
Takuda. Jeffries.
201.
Tonko.
I mean, come on. If Titus walked in
Jeffries.
there, who's going to tell him no?
Torres of California.
He's going to give him.
Jeffries.
He's gonna give him 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
Exactly.
Torres of New York. Jeffries.
Okay, we're there almost.
Trahan. Jeffries. Trone. Jeffries. Turner. Johnson. Underwood.
Terry
Jeffries. Valadeo. Johnson.
They
Van
just put
Drew.
the screen on here. It looks like they're having a deal at the White House.
Johnson.
Well, that's wonderful.
Van
The
Dyne.
White House can stick
Johnson.
it right now.
Yeah. They cut it off.
Van
they
Orden.
heard you. Bend over what?
Van Orden.
Oh, okay.
Vargas. Jeffries. Vasquez. Jeffries. Vesey. Jeffries.
You do understand
Velasquez.
the first thing that they're going to vote on is that
Jeffries.
$100 and some odd billion
Wagner.
going to
Johnson.
Ukraine and Israel.
Well,
Wahlberg.
the sad thing is right here, only 17
Johnson.
billion going to Israel.
Yeah,
Waltz.
The rest is going to Ukraine.
Johnson.
Bullshit.
of course.
Wasserman Schultz. Jeffries. Waters.
Oh,
Jeffries.
Jesus. There's another.
Watson Coleman.
Never mind. I'm going to be nice.
208 to 200. 10 more. Oh.
Jesus Christ. Come on, you fucking pieces of shit. Boo, boo, boo. Yeah, sit down and shut up. Well, sit down.
No other, so we got it.
Watson Coleman.
Oh, I know.
Jeffries.
Thank you. It's about time.
Now come to order. The clerk, the staff, and the tellers deserve to have the attention of the House. The clerk will continue.
Weber of Texas. Johnson.
You shut up too. Sit down.
Webster of Florida. Johnson. Winstrup. Johnson.
What's the score?
Westerman.
Henry?
Johnson.
209, 203.
Wexton. Jeffries. Wild.
That's pretty wild.
Jeffries.
Oh.
Williams of Georgia. Jeffries. Williams of New York. Johnson. Williams of Texas. Johnson. Wilson of Florida.
You know, I would like to thank those members of
Wilson of Florida.
both aisles who just stood up and said a name.
Jeffries.
And not had to make a
Wilson of South Carolina.
Thank you.
Johnson.
He's not your
Whitman.
friend.
Okay, we need 3 more.
Johnson.
We need 2 more.
Womack.
And that's it. It's done.
Hey, we're there. We're at 217.
Hoo. Give the Arsenio. Hoo.
That's right. I like him.
Johnson. Yacom. Johnson.
Yeah.
Zinke.
The next speaker of the People's House.
And what was that, Henry?
They said Dinky voted?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, we're way over. We're over it.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Johnson.
And now comes the tallying of the vote.
The clerk will now call the names of the members who did not answer the first call of the roll.
Byer.
You didn't answer, you ain't there.
Jeffries.
Yeah, we got 220.
Boyle of Pennsylvania. Boyle of Pennsylvania. Correa. Correa. Gallego. Jeffries. Vicente Gonzalez. Vicente Gonzalez.
Okay, Henry, thanks for joining us, and have a safe trip.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye. Number to call if you want to join in the discussion, 928-476-0331, 928-476-0331. Of course, we're winding this down.
Ben Orden.
If there are any members who did not answer the call of the roll, they may come to the well and vote at this time.
And now, of course, they're counting them up, collating, so to speak. It really does irritate me, that they find that they have to grandstand in order to do things. The time for grandstanding is, well, frankly, in my opinion, over. And the House should have been in session and not allowed to leave session until they found a Speaker of the House the first time around. But, yeah, what the hell? Anyway, 928-476-0331, 928-476-0331 is the number if you want to join the conversation. I hope that you do. You can call and say pretty much anything you want. Hopefully we'll be back soon. Honestly, this is something that should have been done a while ago.
In their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 429, of which the Honorable Mike Johnson of the state of Louisiana has received 220 votes. And the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 209 votes.
Dead smack down along partisan line.
Therefore, the Honorable Mike Johnson of the state of Louisiana, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 118th Congress.
The second Speaker of the House. Congratulations, Big Johnson. I'm sure he will be saying a few words here in just a moment.
The chair appoints the following committee to escort the speaker-elect to the chair. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer. The gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Hudson. The gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. McLean. The gentleman from California, Mr. McCarthy. The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Donalds. The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Hearn. The gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Bergman. The gentlewoman from Washington, Mrs. Rogers. The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Arrington. The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Fallon. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Molinaro. The gentlewoman from Florida, Mrs. Carmack. The gentleman from New York,
how dare
Mr.
you
Jeffries.
Misgender her.
The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark. The gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar. The gentleman from California, Mr. Liu. The gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Delbene. The gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Clyburn. The gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Neguse. The gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Escobar. The gentlewoman from Illinois, Ms. Underwood. The gentlewoman from Florida, Ms. Wasserman Schultz. The gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Kildee. The gentlewoman from California, Ms. Jacobs. The gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Crockett. And the members of the Louisiana delegation, Mr. Graves, Mr. Higgins, Ms. Letlow, Mr. Carter. The committee will retire from the chamber to escort the Speaker-elect to the chair.
Ah, yes, the pomp and circumstance. Just walk from your seat, go up there, get sworn in. And start doing the people's business. But no, we've got to go through all this rigmarole and nonsense. Now, can I ask a silly ass question? Why did he go up there and borrow 2 pencils and then put them in his pocket? Just asking for a friend. All right, get on with it, folks. Once sworn in, he will be third in line to the president. Hopefully, this will all be over with soon. Of course, we're not going away until the fat lady sings. Of course, you can always give us a call, 928-476-0331. Tell us your favorite Congress joke. It's all a joke. While we are waiting, I'd like to invite you to theraw.locals.com. Go over there and sign up. You'll be notified every time we go online or go live. And if you are in the mood for full-on access, of course, use promo code THERAW, all caps, one word, and that will entitle you to 1 free month of full access. After that, it's $5 a month or $50 a year with an extra 2 free months. If you don't want all that, well, that's fine. Just sign up, follow, and you'll be notified every time we go online. Of course, you can download Locals to your phone, and you can watch the show. That's right. So that's theraw.locals.com. Also, check out our other programs. Saturday, Saturday, the Mr. Rob Hanson radio program from 3 to 6 p.m. Featuring, of course, myself, Henry, and Pastor Jim. And on Sunday, for a long day of broadcasting, of course, the Mr. Rob Hanson radio program, 2 to 4 p.m. Recovery from Politics with Henry and Tundra, 4 to 6. And Tri-State Recovery Talk from 6 to 7. The Raw airs weekly, 7 to 10 p.m. every Tuesday, and whenever necessary, like, well, right now. You maybe want to, what, Misty, why do you do things like this? Well, the reason I do this is because this is history. This is something that needs to be recorded, needs to be witnessed by as many people as possible. A permanent record must be kept. Let me turn off the the noise. You don't need to know that I'm getting notifications. Anyway, 928-476-0331, 928-476-0331 is the number if you want to join the conversation. Give your best commentary on what you think's going on. 928-476-0331. Give me a call. Break up the monotony. Call and talk to me. Anything you want to talk about. Oh, looks like we're getting ready to go again. The speaker pro tem is getting ready to speak. Or maybe not. Psych! Here we go.
The House will come to order. Sergeant of Arms.
Mr. Speaker, the Speaker-elect Mike Johnson from the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, Big Mike Johnson coming down the aisle there, and with all the pomp and pageantry of a conquering hero. Oh yeah, stop and take the selfies with the cute Congress critters. Yes, get hugs and back slaps and shakes all the way down. March your ass up there, take the oath, and get stuff done, please. Nine two eight 476-0331 is the number. Today we're broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, now X, and Rumble. Oh, this is ridiculous. Come on, folks. I think this is why I wouldn't make it in network television at all. One, I'm uglier than sin. Two, I don't have the patience for this nonsense.
The House will come to order.
Please come to order.
Speaker Mike Johnson, Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, Whip Clark, Chairman Aguilar, all of my colleagues in government on both sides of the aisle. It's an honor and a privilege to once again stand before you as House Democratic leader. From the very beginning of this Congress,
House Democrats
minority
leader,
have made clear that we will find bipartisan common ground with our Republican colleagues whenever and wherever possible, for the good of the American people. And House Democrats have repeatedly done just that.
Bullshit. Oh, I'm sorry.
It was House Democrats who provided a majority of the votes necessary to avoid a catastrophic default on our debt that would have crashed the U.S. economy and triggered a job-killing recession. It was House Democrats who provided a majority of the votes necessary to avoid a government shutdown that would have hurt everyday American. It was House Democrats who provided a majority of the votes necessary to secure $16 billion in disaster assistance for Americans whose lives have been devastated by extreme weather events. From the very beginning of this Congress, House Democrats have been governing for the people.
Blah, 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 blah.
We continue to look forward to finding bipartisan common ground whenever and wherever possible. House Democrats will continue to partner with President Biden and Senate Democrats to put people over politics. House Democrats will continue to fight for lower costs, better paying jobs, safer communities, and to build an economy from the middle out and the bottom up and not the top
American
down.
people do not trust these
House
assholes
Democrats
in Washington,
will
D.C.
continue
They just cannot
to
get
push
on
back against
with
extremism
the job
in this
of
chamber
running
and
the
throughout
nation.
the country. House Democrats will continue to protect Social Security, protect Medicare, protect Medicaid, protect our children, protect our climate, protect low-income families, protect working families, protect the middle class, protect organized labor, protect the LGBTQ community, protect our veterans, protect older Americans, protect the Affordable Care Act, protect the right to vote, protect the peaceful transfer of power, protect our democracy, and protect a woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions. These are blue lines in the sand.
Blue lines in the
To
sand.
make sure that they are never crossed. We must also continue to stand by President Biden as he works to bring American hostages and Israeli hostages held by Hamas back home. American hostages and Israeli hostages and international hostages back home. We must also stand by our friends on the international stage. And we have no better friend in the Middle East than the State of Israel.
Keep missing the target.
Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish and democratic state. The special relationship between the United States and Israel is unbreakable. Our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad, and Israel has a right to defend itself under the international rules of war against the brutal terror unleashed on its citizens by Hamas. Our ironclad commitment to Israel's security and the effort to defeat Hamas is not inconsistent with the goal of achieving a lasting and just peace between Israel and the Palestinian people. In many ways, it is a necessary ingredient because Hamas is not good for Israel. Hamas is not good for America. Hamas is not good for the free world. Hamas is not good for the democratic aspirations of the Palestinian people.
And here you're witnessing the beating of the war drum.
We must also support Ukraine in its courageous effort to defeat Russian aggression. There are only two paths in front of us. We can either stand up for Ukraine or bow down to Vladimir Putin. That is not a difficult choice. We must stand up for America's national security. We must stand up for democracy. We must stand up for freedom. We must stand up for truth. We must stand up for the Ukrainian people until victory is won. It is my expectation that in the next week or so, the Senate will send over for consideration a bipartisan national security funding package for Israel, Ukraine, and our other allies throughout the free world. That also includes humanitarian assistance for Palestinian civilians and others who may be in harm's way. The House of Representatives should take up this national security package and humanitarian relief package
and
immediately,
the fucking garbage,
in totality, and without delay. The time for gamesmanship is over. The time for brinksmanship is over. The time for partisanship is over. It's time to get back to doing the business of the American people.
Yes, and a good start would be for you to just shut up and get on with this.
Let me conclude with an observation about the state of our democracy. Joe Biden won the 2020 presidential election. He's doing a great job under difficult circumstances, and no amount of election denialism will ever change that reality. Not now, not ever.
You just had to get that dig in, didn't you, motherfucker?
Throughout the years,
good God,
presidents from Ronald Reagan to Barack Obama, Dwight Eisenhower to Lyndon Baines Johnson have spoken to this chamber and urged us to put aside partisan politics for the good of the American people. President Lincoln spoke to this Congress on December 1st, 1862, in the middle of the Civil War, and noted that we in this institution had the power and bore the responsibility to save the Union. The stakes were high. As articulated by President Lincoln, we could either nobly save or meanly lose America as we know it, the last best hope on earth. This is a turbulent time in the American journey, and we have but one charge to keep during this moment of great fragility. Our union must be sustained. Our union must be strengthened. Our union must succeed. There are many throughout this country who are understandably alarmed at the turbulence of the moment, at the chaos, the dysfunction, and the extremism that has been unleashed in this chamber from the very beginning of this Congress. But this too shall pass. Our country has often confronted adversity, and the good news is we always find a way to make it to the other side. We faced adversity in the 1860s, in the middle of the Civil War, when the country was literally tearing itself apart. We faced adversity in October of 1929, when the stock market collapsed, plunging us into a Great Depression. We faced adversity in December of 1941, when a foreign power unexpectedly struck, plunging us into a world war with the evil empire of Nazi Germany. We faced adversity in the Deep South in the 1950s, and 60s when the country was struggling to reconcile the inherent contradictions between Jim Crow segregation and the glorious promises of the Constitution. We faced adversity on September 11th, 2001, when the towers and the Pentagon were unexpectedly struck, killing thousands of lives in an instant. We faced adversity right here in the House of Representatives, when on January 6th, 2021, a violent mob of insurrectionists incited by some in this chamber overran the House floor as part of an effort to halt the peaceful transfer of power. Every time we faced adversity, the good news here in America is that we always overcome. That is the power of American exceptionalism. That is why America is the land of the free and the home of the brave. That is why I remain optimistic about the future of this country. That is why America is the last best hope on earth. God bless you. God bless the House of Representatives. God bless the United States of America.
Are you done yet? Good grief. 928-476-0331 is the number if you want to join in.
It is now my solemn honor and responsibility to hand over the People's Gavel here in the United States House of Representatives to a family man, a hardworking man, a Baptist man, a Southern man, a son of a firefighter's household, the gentleman from the great state of Louisiana and the 56th Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, the Honorable Mike Johnson.
Oh my goodness gracious me.
Thank you.
Now we get to hear a speech from Big Mike Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you all. First, a few words of gratitude. I want to thank Leader Jeffries. I do look forward to working with you on behalf of the American people. I know we see things from very different points of view, but I know that in your heart you love and care about this country and you want to do what's right. And so we're going to find common ground there, all right? I want to express my great thanks for our Speaker Emeritus, Kevin McCarthy. Kevin has dedicated over 2 decades of his life to selfless public service, 16 of those years in this House. And you would be hard-pressed to find anybody who loves this institution more or has contributed more to it.
Boy, I'll tell you what, if that's not a call for term limits, I don't know what is. 928-476-0331.
His impact can never be overstated, and I want to thank him for his leadership, his friendship, and the selfless sacrifice that you and Judy have made for so many years. You helped build it, Kevin, and we owe you a great debt of gratitude. I want to thank the dedicated and overworked staff of this beleaguered House. They accept praise so stoically. But Miss Susan Cole, our House reading clerk, and yes. Listen, all the clerks and all the staff, you know, they're terribly overworked. This has been a grueling process, but they have served an integral role in keeping our republic, and we thank them for that service. I know we all do. I want to thank my dedicated wife of almost 25 years, Kelly. She's not here. We couldn't get a flight in time. This happened sort of suddenly. But we're going to celebrate soon. She spent the last couple of weeks on her knees in prayer to the Lord, and she's a little worn out. We all are. I want to thank our children, Michael and Hannah and Abby and Jack and Will. All of our children sacrifice. All of them do, and we know that. And there's not a lot of perks to being a member of Congress's kid, right? And so I want to thank all of your families as well for what they endure and what they've had to endure for the last few weeks. We've been here a while. Yeah. I want to thank my faithful mother, Jeannie Johnson, who bore me at the age of 17. And my brothers, Chris and Josh, and my sister, Laura, and all their families, and all of our extended family. In Louisiana, family's a big deal, and we got a bunch of them. I especially want to thank all the extraordinary people of the great state of Louisiana. We have never had a Speaker of the House hail from our state, and so they've been lifting us up. I thank the people of Louisiana for the opportunity to serve you in Congress, and I'm humbled by your continuous support. We will make you proud. To my colleagues, I want to thank you all for the trust that you have instilled in me to lead us in this historic and unprecedented moment that we're in. The challenge before us is great, but the time for action is now, and I will not let you down. I want to say to the American people, on behalf of all of us here, we hear you. We know the challenges you're facing. We know that there's a lot going on in our country, domestically and abroad, and we are ready to get to work again to solve those problems, and we will. Our mission here is to serve you well, to restore the people's faith in this House, in this great and essential institution. My dad, it was mentioned, my dad was a firefighter. He was an assistant chief in the fire department in my hometown of Shreveport, Louisiana, a little town in northwest Louisiana. On September 17th, 1984, when I was 12 years old, he was critically burned and permanently disabled in the line of duty. All I ever wanted to be when I grew up was the chief of the fire department in Shreveport. But after the explosion on that fateful day, he nearly died, and it was a long road back, and it's changed all of our life trajectories. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. And my dad, he lived with pain all the rest of his life for decades more. And I lost my dad to cancer 3 days before I got elected to Congress, 3 days. And he wanted to be there at my election night so badly. I'm the first college graduate in my family. This was a big deal to him. And so it was several weeks after that. It was early 2017. It was my freshman term. And it fell to me to be in the rostrum one night to serve here as Speaker Pro Tem. I thought that was a big deal until I figured out that's what you do for freshmen late at night. And I think if my memory serves, Miss Jackson Lee was winding down one of her long, eloquent speeches. And not that I was not enraptured by her speech, but I looked up at the top of the chamber there, and I saw the face of Moses staring down. And I just felt in that moment the weight of this place, right? The history that is revered here and the future that we are called to forge. And I really was just kind of almost overwhelmed with emotion. It occurred to me in that moment, it had been several weeks, and I had not had an opportunity yet to grieve my dad's passing. And I just had this sense that somehow he knew. And I had tears come to my eyes, and I was standing here, and I'm wiping them away, and then it suddenly occurs to me, the late night C-SPAN viewers are going to think something's very wrong with the new young congressman from Louisiana. It wasn't Sheila's speech. I'm sorry. I just knew in that moment that my dad, my father would be proud of me, and I felt that he was. And I think all of our parents are proud of what we're called to do here. I think all the American people at one time had great pride in this institution, but right now, that's in jeopardy. And we have a challenge before us right now to rebuild and restore that trust. This is a beautiful country. It's the beauty of America that allows a firefighter's kid like me to come here and serve in this sacred chamber where great men and women have served before all of us and strive together to build and then preserve what Lincoln did refer to as the last best hope of man on earth. We stand at a very dangerous time. I'm stating the obvious. We all know that. The world is in turmoil. But a strong America is good for the entire world.
You know what? I'll tell you what I'm impressed with right now, he is not outright attacked.
We are the beacon of freedom, and we must preserve this grand experiment in self-governance. It still is. We're only 247 years into this grand experiment. We don't know how long it will last, but we do know that the founders told us to take good care of it. I want to tell all my colleagues here what I told the Republicans in that room last night. I don't believe there are any coincidences in a matter like this. I believe that Scripture, the Bible, is very clear that God is the one that raises up those in authority. He raised up each of you, all of us. And I believe that God has ordained and allowed each one of us to be brought here for this specific moment in this time. This is my belief. I believe that each one of us has a huge responsibility today to use the gifts that God has given us to serve the extraordinary people of this great country, and they deserve it. And to ensure that our republic remains standing as the great beacon of light and hope and freedom in a world that desperately needs it. It was in 1962 that our national motto, "In God We Trust," was adorned above this rostrum. And if you look at the little guide that they give tourists and constituents who come and visit the house, if you turn in there to about page 14 in the middle of that guide, it tells you the history of this. And it says very simply, these words were placed here above us. This motto was placed here as a rebuke of the Cold War era philosophy of the Soviet Union. That philosophy was Marxism and communism, which begins with the premise that there is no God. This is a critical distinction that is also articulated in our nation's birth certificate. We know the language well. The famous second paragraph that we used to have children memorize in school, and they don't do that so often anymore, but they should. G.K. Chesterton was the famous British philosopher and statesman, and he said one time, America is the only nation in the world that is founded upon a creed. And he said it's listed with almost theological lucidity in the Declaration of Independence. What is our creed? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, not born equal, created equal. And they are endowed by the same inalienable rights, with the same inalienable rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That is the creed that has animated our nation since its founding, that has made us the great nation that we are. And we're in a time of extraordinary crisis right now. And the world needs us to be strong. They need us to remember our creed and our admonition. Turmoil and violence have rocked the Middle East and Eastern Europe. We all know it. And tensions continue to build in the Indo-Pacific. The country demands strong leadership of this body, and we must not waver. Our nation's greatest ally in the Middle East is under attack. The first bill that I'm going to bring to this floor in just a little while will be in support of our dear friend Israel, and we're overdue in getting that done. We're going to show not only Israel, but the entire world that the barbarism of Hamas that we have all seen play out on our television screens is wretched and wrong, and we are going to stand for the good in that conflict. We have a catastrophe at our southern border. The Senate and the White House can no longer ignore the problem. From Texas to New York, wave after wave of illegal migrants are stressing our communities to their breaking points. We know that our streets are being flooded with fentanyl, and all of our communities, children, and even adults are dying from it. The status quo is unacceptable. Inaction is unacceptable, and we must come together and address the broken border. We have to do it. The skyrocketing cost of living is unsustainable, and Americans should not have to worry about how they're going to feed their family every week because they can't afford their groceries anymore. Everybody in this room should think about this. Here's the stats. Prices have increased over 17% in the last 2 years. Credit card interest rates are at the highest level in nearly 3 decades, and mortgage rates are now at a peak we haven't seen since 2001. We have to bring relief to the American people by reining in federal spending and bringing down inflation. The greatest threat to our national security is our nation's debt. And while we've been sitting in this room, that's right, the debt has crossed almost $33.6 trillion. In the time that it's going to take me to deliver this speech, we'll go up another 20 million in debt. It's unsustainable. We have to get the country back on track. Now, we know this is not going to be an easy task, and tough decisions will have to be made. But the consequences, if we don't act now, are unbearable. We have a duty to the American people to explain this to them so they understand it well. And we are going to establish a bipartisan debt commission to begin working on this crisis immediately. We all know that we also live in a time of bitter partisanship. It was noted, and it's been on display here today. Right? When our people are losing their faith in government,
absolutely,
when they're losing sight of the principles that made us the greatest nation in the history of the world, I think we got to be mindful of that. We're going to fight. We're going to fight vigorously over our core principles because they're at odds a lot of times now in this modern era. We have to sacrifice sometimes our preferences because that's what's necessary in a legislative body. But we will defend our core principles to the end. In his farewell address, thank you. In his farewell address, President Reagan explained the secret of his rapport with people. And I like to paraphrase his explanation all the time. He said, you know, they call me the great communicator, but I really wasn't that. He said, I was just communicating great things. And they're the same great things that have guided our nation since its founding. What are those great things? I call them the 7 core principles of American conservatism, but let me concede to you all, I think it's really quintessentially the core principles of our nation. I boil them down to individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, and human dignity. Those are the foundations that made us the extraordinary nation that we are. And you and I today are the stewards of those principles. The things that have made us the freest, most powerful, most successful nation in the history of the world. The things that have made us truly exceptional. In this time of great crisis, it is our duty to work together, as previous generations of great leaders have, to face these great challenges and solve these great problems. I will conclude with this. The job of the Speaker of the House is to serve the whole body, and I will. But I've made a commitment to my colleagues here that this Speaker's office is going to be known for decentralizing the power here. My office is going to be known for members being more involved and having more influence in our processes and all the major decisions that are made here, for predictable processes and regular order. We owe that to the people. That's right.
Absolutely.
And I want to make this commitment to you, to my colleagues here and on the other side of the aisle as well. My office is going to be known for trust and transparency and accountability, for good stewardship of the people's treasure, for the honesty and integrity that is incumbent upon us, all of us, here in the people's house. Our system of government is not a perfect system. It's got a lot of challenges, but it is still the best one in the world, and we have an opportunity to preserve it.
Let's see if you can, Mr. Big Mike Johnson.
Last thing I'm going to say is a message to the rest of the world. They've been watching this drama play out for a few weeks.
So
we've learned a lot of lessons, but you know what? Through adversity, it makes you stronger. And yeah. And we want our allies around the world to know that this body of lawmakers is reporting again to our duty stations. Let the enemies of freedom around the world hear us loud and clear. The People's House is back in business. Thank you. Thank you. We will do our duty here. We will serve you well. We will govern well, and we'll make you proud in this institution again. We're gonna fight every day to make sure that is true. I look forward to the days ahead. I genuinely believe in my heart that the best days of America are still ahead of us. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you. I'm now ready to take the oath of office, and I ask the Dean of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Harold Rogers of Kentucky, to please administer the oath of office.
Mr. Speaker Designee, congratulations on your election.
Thank you, sir.
When our founding fathers chose a bold, new, and innovative new self-rule government, it was met by deep skepticism by the world's monarchs. They said self-rule is only a dream. Our founders said they're right. It's the American dream.
Amen.
Now it's our dream. We're in charge. The speakership of the United States House of Representatives is the crucial outpost for the well-being of the people's government, the keeper, if you will, of the dream. Sir, if you wish to assume this awesome responsibility, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter. So help you God?
I do, so help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Good for me. Would y'all like to get right into governing? For what purpose does the gentleman from Louisiana seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, that is a nice ring to it, by the way. Mr. Speaker, I offer privilege resolution to notify the Senate of the election of Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House of Representatives and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 810. Resolve that a message be sent to the Senate to inform that body that Mike Johnson, a representative from the state of Louisiana, has been elected Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Without objection, the resolution is agreed to, and the motion to consider is laid on the table. For what purpose does the gentleman from Louisiana seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, to notify President Biden of the election of Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House. I offer a privilege resolution and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 811. Resolved that the clerk be instructed to inform the President of the United States that the House of Representatives has elected Mike Johnson, a representative from the state of Louisiana, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Without objection, the resolution is agreed to, and the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Thank you. All right. The chair would take this occasion to note that the speaker's announced policies with respect to particular aspects of the legislative process placed in the record on January 9, 2023 will continue in effect for the remainder of the 118th Congress. The chair announces that the speaker has delivered to the clerk a letter dated October 25th, 2023, listing members in the order in which each shall act as Speaker pro tempore under Clause 8B3 of Rule 1. The chair lays before the House a communication.
The Honorable, the Speaker, House of Representatives. I hereby designate Representative Steve Scalise to exercise any authority regarding assembly, reassembly, convening, or reconvening of the House pursuant to House Concurrent Resolution 1, Clause 12 of Rule 1, and any concurrent resolution of the concurrent Congress as may contemplate my designation of members to exercise similar authority. In the event of the death or inability of that designee, the alternate members of the House listed in the letter bearing this date that I have placed with the clerk are designated in turn for the same purpose. Signed sincerely, Mike Johnson, Speaker.
The chair lays before the House a communication.
The Honorable Kevin F. McCumber, Clerk of the House, Washington, D.C. Mr. Clerk, I hereby appoint the Honorable Patrick McHenry, the Honorable Adrian Smith, the Honorable Andy Harris, the Honorable Guy Reschenthaler, the Honorable Rob Whitman, the Honorable Ben Klein, the Honorable Richard Hudson, and the Honorable John Joyce to act as Speaker pro tempore to sign and roll bills and joint resolutions through the remainder of the 118th Congress. Signed sincerely, Mike Johnson, Speaker.
Without objection, the appointments are approved, and the House will be in recess subject to a call of chair pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1. We'll be back soon.
All right, that does it. Yep. That is the end of that. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And, well, it looks like we have another Speaker of the House. Woohoo! Big Mike Johnson. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. And we'll see you Saturday, KTOX, for the Miss Rob Hanson radio program. You have been listening to The Raw. Go out there and make the world a better place.
Just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen.
Avast, ye scallywags, is another pirate production.